Hey guys, it's Lindsay from the blog Repurpose and Upcycle, and I'm going to show you a quick and easy project today on how to install these wall boards from a company called Rustix and how to install them on our bathroom wall. Before we begin, I want to go over supplies and a little methodology. So what you're going to need is obviously you're going to need the Rustix wall boards. Now I chose the color beachwood. I love the lighter colors, but it still gives it that weathered look even though it's a brand new product. Next, you're going to need a level, measuring tape. I'm going to be using a miter saw to cut the wood. I'm also going to need to use a jigsaw to cut around the light fixture and around the vanity and the toilet. Then you're going to need a nail gun. You can also use construction adhesive if you prefer, but I am just going to be using a nail gun, and I'm going to put the nails in at an angle in the wall boards to make them a little more secure. And if you choose, you can also use construction adhesive and a nail gun if you prefer. So I'm just going to be using the nail gun today. One thing to note, because these are very lightweight boards, the company suggests to put them over drywall. You don't want to put them just over studs. You want to put them over drywall. You'll notice I've got a lot of holes in my drywall. I'm not really worried about that because the boards are going to go over it. You just need to make a note of where the holes are, so when you're putting the board over the holes, you're not putting nails in the holes. Now, before you start, you've got to figure out where you're gonna start. And there's a couple different methods to that. Some people always say to start at the top. Some people always say to start at the bottom. My thought process is wherever you're gonna see those boards the most, that's where you're gonna want to start. So for me, that's gonna be the ceiling. So I'm gonna start up in the right-hand corner in the ceiling. I've got my safety goggles, I've got my Rustix wall boards, I've got my level, and I've got my nail gun, so I'm ready to go. One thing to note, I'm starting at the top. Wherever you start, make sure that it is level, because if you're not completely level on your first row of boards, the whole thing is going to be off. I've made that mistake before. Learn from my mistakes, don't make it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I got the first board, and if you noticed, when I went in with the nail gun, I did alternating angles. So on this, I angled in this way. On that side, I angled in that way. That makes those nails harder to pull out, especially since I'm not using construction adhesive. For the next board, I'm going to have to measure and make the cut with my miter saw. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark where the edge of that is, okay? I made my cut on the miter saw. Here's my wood. Let's see if it fits. All right, it looks good. Once again, make sure it's level. Okay, so the top row is done. So now what I'm going to do to stagger these boards is I'm going to take the leftover wood that I cut, and I'm going to start at the bottom row with the board that I cut. And this way it will stagger them so they're not super even, because that's the look I'm trying to go for. So you can see the pattern I'm going in. I'm just moving down the wall slowly. Another thing you might be wondering is what about the spacing? That's really a personal preference. I'm going as close up to the boards as I can. I'm not really leaving much of a space, but I'm okay with it. That's kind of the look I'm going for. If you want to add more of a spacing, you can use, I've seen people use pennies to space the boards. Or you can buy the actual spacers and use those. So really it's just your personal preference. Okay, so so now we get to the trickiest part about this project, is working around the light fixture. Now, ideally, you would take the light fixture off the wall and put the boards underneath it. But because of the way this light fixture is secured into the bracket behind the wall, I don't have that luxury of doing that, because if I put the board behind the light fixture, it wouldn't have enough slack to screw into the wall. So I'm gonna have to make really precise cuts and cut around the light fixture. So there's a ton of different ways to do that. For me, the best way is to make a template. So I put 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper together. I'm gonna measure, and I'm going to make a 10 piece of wood on this. And then I'm gonna slide my template up there to make sure it fits. And then when my template is perfect, that's how I'm gonna measure the wood. And so then hopefully when I cut the wood, I will be sure that it's correct. Let me show you guys what I got. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. So now I want to see if it fits. So far, so good. Now that it's in, I'm going to nail it. I did 2 straight nails, and now I'm going to check to make sure it's level. And you're putting your nails in sideways. Some of them won't go in all the way, so just grab a hammer, just tap them in. So guys, I'm going to continue on down the wall with basically what I was doing. I am going to have to do the same thing that I did to make the template for the top of the light. I'm going to have to do the same thing with the bottom, but I'll do that and then I'll just continue on down the wall. So you can see I'm making progress. I'm coming down the board. I'm just repeating my steps from here, this way, then down, here, this way, and then down. You can see I'm rocking and rolling with the wall. I'm down to almost the vanity. So here comes sort of the tricky part. It's gonna fit about 1.5 more boards. So after I put this board up here, I'm gonna have to cut the board. So let me show you how I'm gonna do that. All right, I've cut the board. Okay, that fits pretty good. All right, y'all, I'm done, almost. One really important part of this project is the last step. And because this is a bathroom, it's a wet area, there's a lot of moisture and humidity, I'm gonna have to cover the wall boards in either a polyurethane or a polyacrylic, some sort of sealer to protect it from the humidity and the water. So I'm gonna do that last step and then I'm gonna be done. I'm excited this project is done, and I enjoyed showing you how easy it was to put these wood wall boards on the wall of my bathroom. A big thank you to Rustix, who sponsored this project through Home Talk. I can't wait to show you some final pictures. Thanks, guys.